you say, well, I will transcend Maya, I will conquer Maya, I don't need God's grace. So if I go beyond Maya, I can see God, right? So here's the mind, here's the intellect, man and buddhi, and there's soul, then there's Maya. So if I can lift the curtain of Maya, the veil of Maya, then I should be able to see God directly, right? Yes. Then I'll do that. But how will you conquer Maya? How can we conquer Maya? Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Chapter 7, verse 14. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, "O Arjun, Maya is my Shakti, it is my power. And it is only with my grace that someone can transcend Maya. Maya will leave the individual only when the individual receives my grace. Otherwise, it's not possible. Joi bandhe soi chore." Ramayana says, the one who has tied us up with Maya, he's the only one who can untie us. Only God can release us from the bondage of Maya. It is only through His grace. There's no other way. Chutahi na Ram kripa binu, nath kahahu padaropi. I say with a challenge that Maya cannot be defeated without God's grace, without Bhagwan Sri Ram's grace. So we cannot attain God by reading the scriptures. We cannot attain Him through the Guru, because we still need God's grace to do that. We think that we can listen to a lot of lectures and we can attain God. No. Nayam atma pravachane na labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. The Gita says you cannot attain the knowledge of God by listening to many lectures. You cannot attain God through intellectual speculation. You cannot do mental gymnastics and intellectual gymnastics and discuss God and get to know Him. No. God is not a subject of discussion. God is not one to be discussed. We cannot have arguments about God and then arrive at a conclusion, or this is what God is all about. Now I can get to know God. No, it's impossible. Athapi te deva padam bujadvaya prasadalesha nugrihita evahi. Janati tattvam. Vedavyasji says that God's grace is essential in order to attain God. And he says, even if you know all the scriptures, you still cannot know God without His grace. So now we need to know what is meant by God's grace. We use the words God's grace, but do we really know what it means? We say that without God's grace, nothing can happen. Uski satta ke bina patta bhi nahi hilta. We say that not even a leaf can stir without God willing it so. And we often put the blame on God's grace. When we fail in some venture, we say, well, God did not give me His grace. It wasn't meant to be. It was not the will of God. We use God's grace very conveniently. When we are at fault, we put the blame on God's will. So what is meant by God's grace? God's grace, when one attains God's grace, one attains a divine mind, a divine intellect, the senses, they all become divine. And now with that divine mind, we can see God everywhere. We can experience God everywhere. With the divine eyes, we can see Him. With our divine ears, then we can hear Him speaking to us. We can hear the sound of Krishna's flute when He graces us. We see a person, but we don't see the person. We see God who is seated within him. We see someone who is committing atrocities, and we still think that he is essentially a good person because he has God within him. There's no hatred for anyone. Even the one who is trying to harm you, even that person will be dear to you because you have attained God's grace. There's no hatred, there's no fear, there's no worldly attachment, there's no envy. All the vices of Maya leave because Maya leaves. So all the attendants of Maya leave because the mother is gone, so the children are right behind. So Maya leaves with all the vices. Ignorance leaves. There's no more ignorance. No longer does that individual think himself to be the body. Now he understands and realizes himself to be the soul. We who are bound by three kinds of actions, trikarma, we are no longer bound by those actions. Sanchit, prarabdha, kriyaman, these actions no longer bind the individual who is graced by God. All the sins are burnt, they're destroyed, because he has now attained the grace of God. Tulsidas Ji says, God is causelessly merciful. But we say, well, he graced you. That's why you say he's merciful, but causelessly merciful? I don't think so. Because I have not received his grace. If he doesn't look for a reason to grace, then why have I not attained his grace? Why is my mind not divine? Why do I suffer from anger, greed, hatred, pride, lust, envy, and other vices of Maya? Why is Maya controlling my mind? My mind is being controlled by Maya. Why? Why has God not graced me? You say in Vinay Patrika, we say to Tulsidas Ji, Aisa ko udar jag mahi, binu seva jo drave deen par, Ram saris ko nahi, Aisa ko udar jag mahi. Binu seva jo drave deen par. Without a reason, he graces. Why has he not graced me? Scriptures say, well, you have to surrender to him. Tulsidas Ji surrendered to him, so he got the grace of God. Surdas, Mirabai, Kabir Das, Guru Nanak Dev, all these saints and countless more, they have received the grace of God because they all chose to surrender to him. They surrendered, so they attained the grace. So now we have come to the point where we understand that God cannot be known because of many reasons. But then when he graces someone, that someone can know him. But now we need to know why he has not given his grace to us. We find out that it is because we have not surrendered to him. So then we are likely to think that God is not causelessly merciful because he places a condition before us, before giving his grace. That condition is sharanagati, self-surrender to him. So why is God called causelessly merciful when he expects us to surrender first before giving his grace to us? We will have to find that out. And we will find that, but let's understand a little bit more about grace. How we use the term Bhagavad Kripa. As I said earlier, we use it conveniently. We use the words God's grace. We use this concept of God's grace very conveniently. Someone is invited to satsang, and she does not show up. You invited her to your satsang at your home. So you ask, I was looking forward to having you there. You didn't show up. She says, it wasn't God's will. I was not graced by God, so I did not reach your home. मेरे ऊपर कृपा नहीं हुई, इसलिए मैं पहुंच नहीं पाई. I was not able to reach your home for satsang, and I'm very sorry about that. But God's grace. He didn't grace me, so I didn't reach there. It was God's will. The same woman makes the effort to get up early in the morning and performs all her morning routine rituals, taking a bath and getting ready, getting the breakfast ready for herself, family members, does so much. She does not say, when she's asked, you'll be at work, right? Absolutely, I'll be there. Of course, I don't want to lose my job. But hold on, you're not waiting for God's grace? Are you not going to look for a sign from God in the morning? No? No. I'm not relying on God's grace. I'm relying on the alarm clock. I'm relying on my phone to wake me up in the morning. I'm setting the alarm. So when it comes to going to work, we don't rely on God's grace. When it comes to attending satsang, we use the excuse of God's grace. When we succeed, we say, I worked hard. When we fail, God didn't want me to succeed. I don't know why, but He didn't want me to succeed. It's not my fault. And then we say, well, God is the doer. He does everything. Everything depends on Him. Uma daru yoshit ki nai, sabahi na chavat ram gusai. Ramayana. We misinterpret the words of the scriptures. We say it says in the Ramayana that nothing happens without His grace. So Bhagwan Ram is the ultimate performer of all my actions, and it is He who is to be blamed, not I. Because it says right there in the Ramayana, He's making me dance to His tune. So all my works are the works of Ram. No. When we want to use this excuse of God's grace, we use it very cleverly. And otherwise, we pat ourselves on the back and we say, I worked hard, so I succeeded. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says in the Gita, make no mistake about it, I don't perform your actions. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu. Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu. I do not perform virtuous or sinful deeds of anyone. You're on your own. You are performers of your actions. Scriptures say that God is the doer. Why? Let's understand that. Our mind is the only worker that we have. It is the only karta. And our mind would not be able to work if God did not give it His energy. If God did not energize the mind, we would not be able to do anything. So God is the one who enables the mind to think He enables the intellect to take decisions. Without the power given by God, our mind could not do anything. From this point of view, it is said that God is the doer. He is not the direct worker that He is deciding what to do. Oh, I did something good, God made me do it. I did something bad, God made me do it. No. God enables us to perform actions. He inspires us, but the choice of actions is left up to us. If God were the performer of our actions, then the Vedas would not have told us about actions that are prohibited and actions that are allowed. Vidhi and Nishedh, permissible actions and prohibited actions. Permissible actions such as Satyam Vad, speak the truth. Dharman Char, abide by the rules of dharma. Matri Devo Bhav, Pitri Devo Bhav, Acharya Devo Bhav, The Vedas say regard mother, regard father, regard guru to be divinity. The Vedas would not say this. Do this, do this. These are the actions you're supposed to perform. These are your duties. You must do this. And they would not say the opposite. These you should never do. Dharma na pramaditavyam. Do not renounce the path of dharma. Ma hinsyat sarva bhutani. Do not be violent towards any living creature. We have vidhi and nishedh, list of do's and don'ts. So if God is the performer of all our actions, then there would be no need for Vedas to tell us about vidhi and nishedh, do's and don'ts. They would just say, don't worry about it. God is the one doing everything for you. There would be no need for God to create this earth or Swargalok or Naraklok. There would be no need to punish the offenders by sending them to hell. There would be no need to send the soul to Swargalok for its virtuous actions, punya karma. There would be no need to send anyone to this earthly abode. There would not be 8.4 million different life forms if we were not the ones performing our actions for ourselves. There would be no need for any of this. And then why is it that God is performing all our actions and we are suffering as a result? As Sri Maharaj Ji says in his very unique and wonderful language, he says, "Aisa kaise ho sakta hai ki khana khaye Ramesh aur ulti kare Dinesh." One person is performing an action and the other one is suffering the consequence. That kind of injustice doesn't happen even in the world. It does happen, but not so much. And then this kind of injustice is happening in the realm of God, that He is performing all actions for us and He is making us suffer the results? No. We are the ones performing our actions for ourselves. We often put the blame on God's will. We put the blame on our destiny. We say, God didn't grace me, or my destiny is just terrible. What is destiny? Is it something God gave to us haphazardly? No. Hitopadesh says, Purva janma kritam karma taddaiva miti kathyate. Actions of previous lifetimes are bearing fruit. Now they're known as destiny in this life. So we are the creators of our own destiny. We bemoan our destiny at times. Oh, I have such terrible luck. And we look upwards at God. We pump our fist at Him. Why did you give me this rotten destiny? God says you create your own destiny. So if we are concerned about our destiny for the future, then we must become really careful in the present life. Because right now, we are creating our destiny for the future by choosing our actions. What kind of destiny do you want? That is what we have to ask ourselves. What kind of destiny do I want? I want an amazing destiny. I want a really good destiny. Then we have to do something. Wishful thinking is not enough. Once I was speaking to a mother, a woman who was a mother to 2 children, and she said, Didiji, I want my children to be the best, the most well-behaved, and just the best kids. And I was so impressed, and I told her, that's quite amazing. That's great. You're so concerned for your kids. And so what are you doing to make sure that they're really going to be the best kids? And she looked at me as if I had 3 heads. She said, nothing. I said, well, that's just wishful thinking. I want my child to be the best child, best behaved, but I'm not doing anything to make that come about. So I want a great destiny, but I'm careless in this present life. I'm just hoping God will give me a great destiny in the future. No, our destiny is in our own hands. Our actions of the present will decide our destiny for the future, just like our destiny of the present, our life at present is ruled partially, of course, by our destiny, by actions of the past. Partially, our life is ruled by what we have done in the past, and partially It is ruled by what we are doing at present. But even what we are doing at present, please pay attention to this. Even what we are doing at present has to do with what we've done in the past. What is our state of mind? What is our nature like? Is the mind more godly than worldly? Is it more worldly than godly? Are we very patient? Are we very calm, collective? Or quick to anger, get very frustrated? A lot of it has to do with our past. And it all has to do with our choices. I choose to do this. That means I choose to have this kind of destiny. I choose to do good. In other words, I want a good destiny for the future. I want in my destiny that I should have lots of love for God. So then the action that has to be performed is devotion to God. I want my mind to be very calm. Then you have to work at it. So our destiny is in our own hands. We are responsible for our destiny. We are responsible for the choice of actions. God just enables us to perform actions, but He leaves a choice of actions to us. Just like a river gives us water, but leaves it up to us to decide how we wish to use that water. Some people are swimming in that water, in those waters. Some people are drinking that water. Someone is jumping into the water in order to put an end to his life. The river should not be blamed that if you were not here, that man would still be alive today. No. The river has provided water for everyone alike, but the choice of actions, how we wish to use that water, depends on the individual. It rests with the individual. Just like a policeman is given a gun for self-protection. But if he chooses to turn the gun on himself, then his superiors are not going to be blamed. That if you had not given him a gun, he would still be alive today. No. The gun was for his protection, but he chose to end his life. So God has given us this tremendous power, mental power. We can reach Him using this mental power, but if we decide to do the wrong thing, then the choice is ours. So we should not use the grace of God or will of God. We should not use these concepts conveniently to put the blame on God. We should understand what grace is. When grace is given to us, everything about us becomes divine. All the sins are burnt away. The 3 actions, they have no hold on us. There is no, Maya leaves and does not ever come back. Vilajya manaya tasya sthatu miksha pathe muya. Maya is embarrassed going in front of God or someone who has attained God, someone who has attained divinity. Maya will never return. And therefore anger, greed, hatred, pride, and the rest will never return. Now there's a divine mind, divine intellect. But in order to get this grace of God, we will have to surrender to Him. Our doubt is that if we need to surrender to Him, then God is not causelessly merciful. However, this doubt will be dispelled. Not tonight, tomorrow. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki.